Clarence Kennedy has always been one of my biggest inspirations, not just in squatting, but in the gym as a whole. I used to watch his content religiously when I was younger and have since remained a loyal fan. His most recent video talks about how he did 5x5s on squat almost every day for years on end, which is the same program that he used to lift most of his biggest numbers. Specifically, it programs for 5x5 at 80 to 90% 1 rep max 5 days per week with 1 light day and 1 rest day. I can't argue with his results either, having squatted 675 pounds, clean and jerked 500, and snatched 430, all relatively injury-free. That is, up until his recent knee surgeries and subsequent hip pain. This parallels with Tom Platz's recent knee surgeries and other health problems, and I have a strong feeling that the two may be related. Specifically, I think that their liberal use of squat shoes may have been a contributing factor. As I've previously stated in my theory of assistive minimalism, I have a feeling that any sort of performance-enhancing equipment, be it squat shoes, lifting belts, and even lifting chalk, probably impairs long-term performance. While Clarence Kennedy was able to do such impressive feats with a conservative use of performance-enhancing equipment, I have a feeling that I can eventually do it all even better by only using what I was born with: my bare hands, knees, and feet. Clarence was clearly onto something during that period, and it's even more fascinating to me how Toshiki Yamamoto, an elite-level Japanese weightlifter, independently created a similar lifting ideology. While both include heavy weights with high frequency, they notably lack Tom Platz's signature flair of high reps with that same heavy weight. I honestly think that I can come to embody the best of all three variables, weights, reps, and frequency, by starting now with a similar program. This will include starting with a weight that I can comfortably squat 5x5s with every day, which is 135 at the moment, and gradually increasing the weight for as long as possible. I'll be starting this first week with only squatting 135 or 5x5 every day until I can feel good enough to go 5 pounds heavier. I'll be measuring my joint integrity on a scale of 1 to 10 based on how I feel that day. For instance, if I feel good enough to squat 135 5x5 one day, that will be a 7 out of 10. If not, that day will score appropriately lower based on how much worse I feel. Like, if I can only squat 95 pounds, that will be around a 6 out of 10. But if I can't even squat the bar one day, that will be a 4 out of 10. In addition, I'll be including one set at the beginning of my workouts with however heavy a weight that I want to squat that day. I recognize that I should still work to sustain my strength performance, so I will, by including one set of intuitively programmed heavy squats. As for today, I already did my first day of 5x5 lifting, and I felt pretty good, especially with a controlled eccentric and pause at the bottom of each rep. I have a feeling that using a set tempo paired with a pause may be a very good idea for long-term performance. It's also worth mentioning that I ran a similar program to this last year. I started that program on day 100 of my own squat everyday journey, when I couldn't even bodyweight squat to full depth every day without pain. So I took a long-term approach, starting at just a 5-pound dumbbell for 10 reps every day, and going up to squatting 100 pounds to full depth every day by day 200. Unfortunately, I could not sustain this performance for very long though. That's because I was still taking pre-workout and using equipment, which, when paired together, heavily skewed my sense of mindfulness. This led me to squat way too heavy for a short period of time, which subsequently led to a pretty bad case of burnout. But now I'm much more confident in my abilities to sustain this current level of performance, especially since I've changed a few key behaviors. Most importantly, I don't take caffeine anymore, because I'm now on a strict carnivore diet, and a pre-workout is made from plants. And while I'm on carnivore, I don't consume any carbs, which I have a feeling may impair recovery anyway. All of this works well with no longer using any performance-enhancing equipment to be able to sustain my performance for as long as possible. I certainly hope y'all enjoyed this video. As you can probably tell, I wrote this all out in the script beforehand, and I intend to continue this going forward. I've always enjoyed writing, and I think this may be a very good outlet for creative expression. As always, thanks for watching, and happy squatting. Mwah.